What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to our Week 8 college football show presented by the Sports Forum. I'm your man, Riggs Tamburo. That is Austin Martin and Mr. Christian Bole. Gentlemen, let's have some fun here, guys. We got some great games on slate today. Got a parlay of the week for you guys. Got some underdogs for you. All the good stuff coming at you, starting here with an absolute banger. Penn State coming into this game, man. They are on the road, 4.5-point dogs. Ohio State, number 3 overall. -4.5 here. Christian, I'm going to start with you just because I know how you feel about them boys over at the O. 4.5 points. Are you going to lay it here?
This is a tough game, man. I think they nailed the spread. I really have seen more from Ohio State. They've played Notre Dame, and they played them tough on the road. Penn State hasn't played anybody. They beat up on West Virginia, who week 2. But the thing is, man, can you trust James Franklin in a big game? I don't think you can, man. He has constantly let Penn State down. It kills me to say it, but I think I'm leaning Ohio State in this game just because they're at home. Drew Aller's first start in a big game. I'm interested to see what he can do. I'm just going to lean Ohio State in this one until James Franklin proves me that he can win a big game.
Mark it down in history, folks. Christian Bole taking Ohio State at the spread. It does not happen, but it just did. Austin, are you with him here, or is that 4.5 points on the road looking pretty good for you?
Yeah, I'm with him on that one. Kind of the same thing. Penn State hasn't really played anybody that big this year. Ohio State, they had Notre Dame. That was a crazy game. And also Ryan Day, he's 35-0 against teams not named Michigan. So gotta give Michigan some props here. But I like them. I mean, the Big Ten East is just loaded, and this game it's pretty big. Just implications on the playoff and everything, but I really like Ohio State in this one.
I'm with both you guys here. I guess no one is going to take Penn State here. I just think this Ohio State offense, they're too much. Them at home, very hard place to go play. And I'm with you here, Christian. I simply don't trust Penn State at all in the big game. So it's very simple here. We're all going to go Ohio State. Hopefully this number falls to 4, and it's not 4.5, because filleting that 4.5 hook just kind of sucks. But go ahead and take your pick here. Over under in this game, 45 points solid. Christian, I know you like your overs. Is this one low enough for you?
It's low enough, but man, this game's scary, man. I mean, like, you look at the percent of the bets, like, it's almost 50-50. It's 54 Ohio State, 46 Penn State. So I don't know if that line's going to move too much. I think that's pretty much where we're locked in. 45 seems like it's too low for these two teams, but both of these defenses, I believe, are top 10 in the nation right now. Like, both these defenses are elite. I don't trust Kyle McCord. I don't trust Drew Aller to make the big plays. But in the end, I'm going to take the over. It pains me to do it because everything I just said would lean towards the under, but I can't do it, man. 45 is too low for a college football game.
Yeah, I'm going under, man. The defenses are too solid in this one for me to go otherwise. And I'm looking at a lot of games this week. I'm kind of leaning more towards the under on some of these games, but definitely this one, these defenses, they are looking pretty solid. And Penn State, they do have some success running the ball. Ohio State, they like to throw the ball. That's where they excel. But I don't know. I think Penn State's going to key in on those receivers, and it's going to keep it a close game.
I'm with you, man. And this one's really tough for me. I think we're all kind of on that edge of, like, we just don't know which way to really go here. Right. I want to say over because I said Ohio State, and I said I think the Ohio State offense is going to have success here. But I don't think Penn State are good for anything. No way they're good for anything more than 20 in this game, maybe 17-ish. So for that reason, even if it's 24-20, something like that, I'm going to lean under just barely. But there's nothing I like in this game, to be honest with you guys, really outside of Ohio State on the money line in a parlay. Like, everything else scares me here. So I don't know. Any other thoughts here on Ohio State, Penn State before we jump on over?
This is going to be, I feel like this game's going to go to overtime. I have a feeling this game's going to go to overtime. And that if you're an underbetter, is the biggest, like, fear of all time. And I just have a feeling this one's going to overtime. I think these teams are evenly matched, but I think Ohio State's going to pull it out in the end.
Fair enough, guys. Overtime right now sitting at 18-1 if you want to go ahead and take a shot on overtime. I'll jump on that. Why not? It's one of those games. So good luck to you guys there in that opener. Jumping over 10 a.m. Air Force. They are ranked number 22 in the country. They are still undefeated. They are at Navy for this one. 10.5-point favorites. -360 on that money line. Navy plus 10.5, plus 285. And a brutally low over under of 34.5 in this game. Austin, our boys, our local guys, Air Force, they are looking really good here, but 10.5 points in a 34.5 point over under, is it too much to lay?
The points is one thing to look at, but I just feel like that total is just way too low. I could see Air Force getting that by themselves in this game. I wouldn't be surprised. I just think Air Force, they're a very efficient team. They don't really make a lot of mistakes. They just got done with a very explosive and entertaining game against Wyoming where they were down and had to make some plays to come back in that game. And I think Air Force is just too strong for Navy. Navy does run the ball well, but that's not going to help them get back out of a deficit. Because I could see Navy going down early and just trying to crawl and scrape to get back in this one. So I like Air Force on this one.
And if Navy tries to throw the football to come back in the game, we all know what's going to happen there. So Christian, I do got to ask you though, man, I guess this could be a spread and a total question, but with Navy running the football so much, is that why this number is so low? Obviously, even if they score 7 or 10 points in this game, they could maybe just keep it close throughout. Is it hard to see how Air Force pull away here? Or do you think this one truly is not going to be close?
Well, I think just because this is a Commander-in-Chief's game, and those games are typically very low scoring. I mean, you think of the Navy Army over-under that hit for the first time in 25 years, a couple of years ago. So I think that's the reason why this total is so low. The part that scared me about this game is 94% of the bets are on Air Force in this game. And I really like Air Force in this game. I think Air Force is a wagon, man. But like you were just saying, Austin, it is a letdown spot going from that high-intensity game against Wyoming. This could decide the Mountain West in that game last week. And now you have to go play a rival on the road at 10 a.m. That's what scares me about this game. Air Force didn't cover for the first time last week. First time all year they didn't cover the spread.
Very sad to see. Yeah.
Very sad to see. I love Air Force in this game, but I think I'm going to have to take Navy plus 10.5. I still think Air Force wins it. But I am going to take Navy plus the 10.5 just because I think this is a letdown spot and it is a rivalry game. So I think the score stays closer than we want as Air Force fans. But I'm with Austin too. I think Air Force can score 35 by themselves. So I'm going to take the over.
I will say my brother did go to Air Force, and it's like he always used to say, in games like this, in these Commander-in-Chief kind of games, if you win this one game, it was a decent year for you. And I think that's what Navy's looking at here. Everybody knows Air Force is successful. We're all sitting here giving them praise, saying this team is legit. They're this, they're that. And Navy's sitting there going, if we could just get this one, we're happy with it this year. So, dude, I'm going to lay 10.5 points, but I agree with you, Christian. I think it's going to be very sweaty, but I do think there's a chance late in the game here that they pull away. They get that 2-touchdown lead, and then Navy has the ball last, and they go down there. And could they backdoor cover this one? I guess maybe they could, but I have seen nothing from Navy to make me want to put my money on them. So I'm going to go with that one. Over under 34.5 here. Austin, I know you're on the under. Christian, I'm going to jump on the under. I know you are in overs, man, though. Are you going to try it here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on, man. Like, this isn't even a question. I'm going to take, when I see a total like this under 35, I have to take the over. It's a personal challenge for me every week. So I'm going to ride with the over. I want to take Air Force so bad, dude. I want to because I know that they're the superior team. But I'm going to take Navy and I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the points with Navy. I still think Air Force wins this game, but 10.5 is just a lot of points, man, on the road.
Fair enough. And Austin, by the way, man, maybe I'm wrong here. Are you going over because you said Air Force could get there by themselves?
Yeah, I'm going over. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm the lone wolf here. All right.
Yep.
So I'm going to go under. These boys going to go over. Good luck to you guys, whichever way you choose to go. It's too much running the football for me. It's running on both sides. It's a moving clock. Everything in college now just moves so quickly for me. I just don't see how I could go over here. But I hope Air Force win this thing 40-0, and that's how the over hits. That would be beautiful. But good luck to all of you guys there. Jumping over to an absolute banger of a football game. Number 17, Tennessee, is on the road taking on number 11, Alabama, 1:30 p.m. Tennessee getting 8.5 points here as dogs, plus 270 on the money line. Bama, minus 8.5. minus 340. Heavy money coming in here on Alabama. Austin, Spread and money line, who you looking at here? I know a lot of people like Bama, but I feel like 8.5 points, it's almost just too disrespectful here.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone, this is the goalpost game. I think that goalpost is still in the river alongside some of those students that are out there swimming around. But this is a completely different team. These two teams are led by different quarterbacks. I don't think we're going to see the firepower of almost over 100 points scored in this matchup. But I'm taking Bama in this one. I still believe in Nick Saban. I think he's the guy. He's going to get his team ready to go. But I think 8.5 in a rivalry game like this, where these teams are very close. I think I'm going with Tennessee, the plus 8.5 points. I just think that's too many points in a rivalry game here.
Fair enough. Christian, I will let you go next, man, because I feel very good about my bet here.
Yeah, no, I'm echoing the same points that Austin did. Like you said, 78% of the money's coming in on Alabama, 30 like for the money line, 64% is coming in on Tennessee on the spread. I think that's where the money's going to be made, is on the spread at Tennessee plus 8.5. This is my upset of the week. I think Tennessee's going to go in there and beat Alabama. I really do. I think they're coming at plus 270. I'm going to take Tennessee on the money line, and I just don't think Alabama's that good. I really don't. I don't think the SEC is that good other than Georgia. So I'm going to roll with Tennessee plus 8.5. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the money line.
Guys, 8.5 points is too many points here. And maybe we're fools. Maybe Bama do one of those things, because this is one of those games where Bama, I fade them every time in this spot. They get these more than a touchdown spreads. I look at it and I'm like, there's no way that they cover this. And then unfortunately, they usually do. But this is one of those few times that the money's actually on Bama in this game, which just makes me feel really good about the spread. Tennessee, Christian, we've been very high on them pretty much all year. Even when they had their bad game, we were like, look, this team's going to bounce back. They're better than that. I think they're better than their number 17 ranking. They are definitely a top 15 team. And I think you could argue that Bama, they're not even in the top 11, to be completely honest with you. I don't think they're that good. I just think it's a little bit of everyone's kind of on Bama. Everyone's kind of fading Tennessee. What a perfect spot here to walk up in there and shut them up. So I'm not going to go as far as you and go money line here. I'm very happy with the 8.5 points. Since it's in Bama, I will take Bama on the money line if you guys want to throw that in a parlay. But overall, I think the 8.5 points is just too many. Over under 47.5 here, Mr. Austin Martin. Where do you go here? I think they nailed this number.
Yeah, that's a good number. I could see some struggles on offense, especially with these two defenses, especially Bama's offensive line struggling, and Tennessee, they have a very great ability to get at the quarterback. I think they're top 5 in sacks in the nation. But I definitely feel like both teams are going to be trying to throw the ball and make some big plays. And I like the over in this one. I don't think it's going to shatter the over like last game, but I think the over is going to hit in this one.
Over 47.5. I'm going to go ahead and jump on that with you personally. I just think it's a little bit too low. One of these offenses to me is definitely going to get to 30 something, 30, 31, maybe 34. Anything more than that feels a little high. And I think it's going to be a good game. So even if it's in that 34 to 28 kind of realm, it just feels too low here. Christian, I'm sure you're happy to hear us both going over. Are you with us? Are you going to shock the world?
Oh, dude, I'm going over. I mean, you look at the past 5 times these teams have played, the over-under has been set in the high 60s. So you're telling me it's at 47 now? I respect both these defenses, but I'm going to take the over 47.5 points. It just feels too low. And like Austin was saying, last year was an instant classic, 52-49. Year before that, 52-24. Year before that, 48-17. Like, these teams score on each other, man. I'm going to take the over, and I feel like that. Doesn't it kind of feel like it's a rat line? Like 47.5 feels way 100%. Too low for these two teams. I'm going to take the over. It feels weird that it's this low, but if I'm going to take free money, I'm going to take free money. I'm going to take the over.
Yep. Too low here. So guys, we're squad riding the over 47.5 there in that one. Best of luck to you. Jumping over to our local team here, Colorado State. They had a miracle of a win last week with a Hail Mary, a PAT to win it. Austin Martin was out at the game, saw it live in person. I had the joy of watching it on TV and watching a bunch of highlights. So not as lucky, but they are back in action here. And I'm kind of surprised by the line. Colorado State, 8-point dogs on the road at UNLV, over under 62.5 points. So high scoring game. Austin, take the floor, man. I know you and I are very, very high on this quarterback. We're very high on this defense. Are you surprised by the 8?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised seeing that. I thought it was going to be more within like the like less than a touchdown, like around like 4 or 5, in between that. So that's pretty surprising, especially with both teams' ability to score. I mean, you can see, last week, how much they put up 21 points within like 4 minutes.
Right.
I mean, the other 56 minutes, that's a little alarming. I don't disagree with you on that, but I just think that this game is going to be a lot closer than people think, especially with that spread. So I think, I don't know, I'm definitely going with Colorado State covering those points, because I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado State wins this. I don't think this is a gimme game by any means, because UNLV they're a solid team, but that spread is just, I think that's too much to leave on the table for this electrifying offense. They do have some injuries at running back, but this team doesn't really run the ball that much. Even when they were healthy, they weren't running the ball to these guys that much. They like to throw the ball. Torrey Horton, we all know what he could do. Dallin Holker, a stud. And then you got Louis Brown and Justice Ross Simmons out there as well that you can go to that can make some plays. So I just don't think that they're out of any game by any means because of that offensive firepower.
Would you take a shot at that plus 260 money line?
I definitely would. Because looking at Colorado State's schedule coming up, they got UNLV, Air Force, and Wyoming. If there's any game that looks like Colorado State could win, it's this one, UNLV. And the way, I don't know, coming off of that crazy game, that momentum, that confidence, just seeing all those guys, how happy they were and wanting to keep this thing rolling. There's a lot of confidence with this team. And I like that money line as well.
Taking the 8 and the money line. Christian, are you with him here? Or are you going to put a little knife in our hearts here and take UNLV?
No, man. I mean, the stats back it up that CSU plays UNLV really well. They've won 4 of the past 5 games. They've covered in 4 of the past 5 games against UNLV. I think what CSU has done, remember what we were saying in the first week of the year, Riggs? We were like, this CSU team will be lucky to win 3 games. And they've turned it around. They look like a competent football team.
Colorado State. I'm sorry.
That's my bad. That's my bad. I was texting Riggs on the side being like, dude, this team stinks. But that was just a really good Washington State team. And I think the reason why they're such big dogs is because the last time they went on the road against Utah State, they got their asses kicked. And I think that's why they're getting 8 points in this game. But I love CSU on this one. I agree with Austin. This line should be like 3.5, 4. It should not be 8. So take CSU plus 8. They've covered 4 of the past 5 games against UNLV. I don't think UNLV is that good. I really don't. I think they're a solid football team. I think these teams match up pretty well. So I'm going to take CSU plus 8, and I'm going to hammer that money line at plus 260.
Just to counter your trend, because somebody has to do it, so we're not over here saying Rams. I will say UNLV is one of the few teams in college football that is perfect this year at the spread. So we're all saying they're going to blow this, because I'm hearing what you're saying about them being great against the spread against UNLV. But UNLV this year, not playing Colorado State, are perfect. So, hey, something's got to give. So I guess we'll see what happens. But I'm with both of you guys. 8 points. No freaking way that I'm laying 8 points with UNLV. I don't think this football team is even good. Like, I don't even put them in like a category of being touchdown favorite. I don't think they should be 4.5 point favorites. I think at max they should be 3 or 4 point favorites, simply because they're at home. If this game was in Colorado State, it would be Colorado State plus 3 or even less than that. So I like the 8 here, and I'm with Austin. I'm going to sprinkle up that money line. Braden Fowler Nicolosi. This kid is on the map. I don't know if y'all been looking at the rankings, and Coach Matt Mummy is putting it out every week saying, look at my quarterback. Look at my quarterback. This kid's balling. And he is balling, man. There's no reason to fade him here. Dallin Holker, this kid is just one more good game away from another good game every week. He never doesn't show up. So got to love him. Hope he's going to go to the league too. But Colorado State plus the 8 and the money line, 62.5 points. Are we all going over, or is someone going under?
This feels gross, man. I mean, 62.5 is a lot of points, but CSU's 5-1 over under this year. 5 of their 6 games have gone over. So I'm going to ride with the stats. I'm going to take the over. It's gross. 62.5 is so many points, but I'm going to take the over. UNLV's no slouch either. They're 4-2 against this over under in their 6 games. So I'm feeling pretty good about that over. It's gross, but I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Christian. It's just the offensive firepower from both these teams. Looking at the schedules, I can see that hitting. I don't know about with ease. It's going to be close, but I definitely like that. I like that over. I think UNLV they might have some openings in their defense as well, and Colorado State will have a lot of opportunities. And same with UNLV. I think. We might be missing our nickel this game. I can't. He didn't play at all. He didn't suit up last week. Aiden Hector. I don't know if he's playing this week, but we do have some holes there, so we'll see. I like that over.
I'm with both of you. I definitely like the over here. And the thing is, I know we're all on Colorado State, so it kind of defeats the purpose here. But UNLV, if they're going to cover in this game, the over has to hit in this game because Colorado State, they're good for 28 to 31 points, in my opinion, for sure. They could even put 34, 38 up in this game. If they put up 38, I think they win the football game. But either way, I think it's 30-something to 30-something. The lowest someone scores is 27 or 28 here. So I feel pretty darn good about the over 62.5. Best of luck to everybody there. Jumping over, we haven't been talking about much Michigan, but Christian Bole's on the show, and we got a big one this weekend. Number 2, Michigan at 24.5-point favorites on the road at Michigan State. Come on, State. 24 points. Are we going to get embarrassed by more than 24 in a 46.5-point over-under? I will make my take very quick. Give me Michigan State plus 24.5. This is a rivalry. It's too many points. Of course. Is Michigan State going to win this football game? Absolutely not. But 24 points, it's too many for me. Christian, please explain how you guys are going to cover 24.
Michigan State sucks. I mean, they are a really bad football team this year. I mean, they literally had to fire their coach because he was having phone sex with a former sexual assault victim. Like that's why. Michigan State sucks, dude. They are really bad. They blew a lead to Rutgers last week. They lost to Rutgers, Riggs. Rutgers.
I know.
So I get it. It's a rivalry game. I mean, we got to make sure Michigan State's not swinging any helmets in the hallway trying to hurt my players after they get their asses kicked in the game. I don't trust Michigan State's quarterback. I don't trust their weapons on the outside. Michigan has been a wagon all year. They've really turned it on these past couple weeks offensively. Michigan's going to win this game by 35 plus. I really do think that. This is a big game for Jim Harbaugh, especially with all the news coming out that they're stealing signs and yada, yada, yada. Just a bunch of fake news coming through.
You guys are trending.
just some fake news, just trying to get under Michigan's skin. But Michigan's going to win this game very comfortably. I get it's a rivalry game. It's a rivalry game for Michigan State. They're our little brother. It's really not that big of a deal to me. I'm more focused on Penn State and Ohio State this year, but I think Michigan wins this game by 35 plus points. They're just going to beat the shit out of Michigan State.
Does that mean you're going over 46.5 as well then?
Yeah, I think Michigan's going to put up 55 on them.
Oh, all right, Mr. Bole. If you guys didn't know how Christian feels about Michigan State, now you know. So if you think they're stealing signs, F you. No, they're not. You're wrong. Austin Martin, 24 points, man. You got to pick a side here. Are you with me? Are you with Christian? What you doing?
I don't know. I'm with Christian on this. Just seeing how Michigan State played Rutgers and how Michigan played them.
Go State.
I can't give Michigan State those points. They haven't given me any reason to believe that. And Michigan's given me all the reasons to believe it. They've handled every team that they should have been beaten or they should be beating. They've handled them very well. I don't see this going any differently, even though it is in Michigan State. That could come into some play there, and it's a rivalry game. But there's nothing going for Michigan State right now, and Michigan has a lot of momentum. And every week it seems like there's something going on, either with Harbaugh or now they're stealing signs, or what I like to call it, scouting.
Right. They're doing their job.
Yeah.
They're doing their job. They're doing their job.
So I'm going. I got to take Michigan minus 24.
Scouting. There you go, guys. You guys should shut down every rumor with one word. There you go. We're scouting, doing our job, man. So you guys, they're laying 24.5 points on the road. I'm going to take 24. I start up 24-0. And you know what? Let's play ball, baby. Give me 24 points and let's just hold on for 4 quarters. Please hold on as hard as you can. So
Riggs, in this game, you'll know in the first drive if you're going to cover or not. Because if Michigan State gets the ball and they go down and score, you're going to know if you're going to cover or not. You're going to know in the first drive if this game is going to cover or not. I mean, you look at Michigan went down 7-0 against Indiana last week and rattled off 52 straight points and covered with ease. And they were 34-point favorites. So I want this to be a rivalry because Michigan State's fun to root against, but right now they're in a deep, dark pit hole of shit. And the good news is, though, Riggs, they started selling beer at the stadium, so at least the fans will be able to drink there. So, yeah, I think Michigan wins this game big, and we're just on to bigger, better things with Penn State and Ohio State later this year.
Fair enough. I will throw out one more bet here just because I am a little bit scared of this number, guys. I like Michigan State even better in the first half at the spread because, like Christian said, if they score early, you're looking okay. And the odds are if they're down 14-0 in the first 4 minutes, you know what's going to happen in this game. So I like the first half plus 14 better than I like the whole game plus 24. It's that extra few points. Just try it in the first half. It's 2 less quarters of having to play Michigan. So I don't know. Take a shot there. Jumping over to one more game before we get to our dogs and our parlay of the week. This is going to be a fun one. Number 14, Utah at number 18, USC. USC 7-point favorites here in their own house. Austin, I don't know what to do with this USC team, man. I feel like one day I look at them and I'm like, man, this team's a problem. And the next day I look at them and I'm like, they're going to get exposed by a couple teams that have no business exposing them. It's just about when's it going to happen? Does it happen here?
Yeah, I don't know. This one gave me some trouble because I am a big Caleb Williams fan, and just seeing all the slander he's getting after having a rough game last week, I get it. But also, I don't see him having 2 bad games in a row. And I don't know if Utah can really keep up with USC. They do have a defense that's pretty solid. They've been able to rely on that defense this year. But I just think at home, USC, and they got a chip on their shoulder after coming off of a tough loss. I think that spread is looking pretty nice for USC. And I think I got to go with the Trojans on this one. I think they're going to bounce back.
Trojans in a bounce back. The thing is, man, they got to win by a tutty. They can't stop nobody. And I know this Utah offense, the Utah offense, they're not very good at this point. We've kind of seen that they have a lot of struggles. But defensively, I think as long as you can shut down Caleb Williams when you need to shut him down, you're in a football game with these guys because you don't need a great offense to score on them. So I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to go Utah plus 7. I don't love it because I do think USC win this football game. But like I said, USC, they've been in too many close ones. They're getting too close to being exposed by somebody. Shit, Colorado almost beat these boys. No offense to Colorado. I think they're a good team, but come on, y'all. Shout out Stanford. At this point, I feel like 7 points against USC. It's too many points. So I'm going to go Utah here. Christian, where are you going?
I'm going to keep looking over all the sports books, and I'm going to look to find a line that has USC minus 6.5. That's where I'm at with it. 7's a lot. But I do think USC is going to bounce back. Utah beat them twice last year and beat them pretty handily in the Pac-12 championship game. I think USC's out for revenge. They got their asses kicked by Notre Dame last week. They got really exposed. And like Austin was saying, Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in college football. He is. He is the best college football quarterback. Soon to be NFL owner, part owner of a team if everything goes his way. But I really do think that USC is going to bounce back. I think they win this game comfortably. If you can find the line at 6.5, take it at 6.5. But I feel comfortable just throwing USC in the money line on a parlay. That's kind of where I'm at with it because everything you're saying is right, Riggs, that Utah's offense has been terrible, but USC's defense may be worse than Utah's offense. That is really the key. And I echo the point that we had on the show a couple weeks ago. How does Alex Grinch still have a job as the USC defense coordinator? They have shown no signs of improvement from last year, and they have the talent. Like they're a talented team on defense. So I like USC. If I can get it -6.5, that's where I'm going to take it. But I feel more comfortable throwing them on the money line in a parlay.
Fair enough. I'll just kind of echo that, by the way. I'm just going to jump ship there and go opposite of you. Guys, I'm doing the same thing with Utah. I want 7.5. If you can find more than a touchdown, go find that as well. I agree with you. I think at 7, it's 50-50. If it starts to lean either way, though, you can start to look the other way for the other team. So I don't know, man. Good luck to you guys in that one. We got to talk about the Colorado Buffaloes. I know these boys are not playing this week, but oh my Lord. They blew their game against Stanford. They were up 29-0. We talked about this on the radio show, so we won't get too far into it. But they blow their 29-point lead. They lose in overtime. Stanford beats them 46-43. They now have 5 games left. Are they going to make a bowl game? Looking at the games they got at number 25 UCLA next week. Number 12 Oregon State coming to Colorado. Arizona at Colorado. I would have drawn that up as the game that they're going to win, but Arizona just beat the living shit out of Washington State at Washington State, 44-6. Then you got Colorado at number 14, Utah, and then they're at Washington State as well. Like, I don't really see a world in which they win more than one more game. I've heard a lot of people say they're not going to win another game. Christian, what's going to happen here with the Buffaloes?
Yeah, it's not good, man. They probably cost themselves a bowl game by losing that game to Stanford. That schedule you just rattled off is probably one of the toughest in college football to end the year. That is a brutal schedule. I think maybe they can upset Oregon State. Maybe. Maybe, but that's at home, right? That's in Boulder.
That one is at home, yes.
Yeah, I think they maybe can win that one. Arizona, like you said, has really played good football these past couple weeks. I think that's going to be a shootout. I think I'm not going to give up hope yet because this Colorado team has surprised me at every turn this year. And that's what CU fans have to remember. You were a 1-win team last year, and you already have 4 more wins than you did the year before. So if you can make a bowl game, awesome. If you end up going 5-7, that's still a successful year in the first year of Coach Prime. So it sucks that they lost to Stanford. That was honestly impressive how much they blew that game. That was impressive.
Shout out to A.O. Manor. That boy put on his weight room, bro. He a dog.
Yeah, that's it. But I think they're going to win one more. If they can win 2, that's a hell of a year for CU.
Yeah. Austin, one game that Christian didn't talk about that I want to ask you about is that very next one that they have here. They have 2 weeks to prepare for UCLA. Obviously, UCLA, yes, they're ranked, but they're ranked number 25. I know that's a good football team, but we've seen moments of UCLA this year where they don't look that dominant. 2 weeks to prepare, coming off an embarrassing game. Obviously, the first half for Colorado was incredibly impressive. Can they turn this over and walk in there and upset UCLA?
That one, I would say the UCLA game and the Arizona game make the most sense. You are going to LA for this one, but you have those 2 weeks to get healthy, look at some film, and you're coming off of like one of the most embarrassing losses. I don't know about in program history, but definitely just one of the most embarrassing losses we've seen out of a team this year. And I just think that also Colorado's problem, they play every game with a huge target on their back because everybody goes in there wanting to play their best game against these guys. So yes, we've seen some struggles with UCLA, but also I could see Colorado bouncing back from adversity. They've done it this year. They played some good teams. They almost beat the Trojans. And they had that TCU game. I think that this game is probably their best bet to get a game, under their belt, a win, and maybe Arizona. But Arizona's looking pretty nasty right now. So I think right now, coming off of a bye against UCLA, that's definitely going to be going in the Buffs' favor. I think that's their best bet to get in the win column this year. And like you were saying, I mean, this season's a win for just the program in general. I know Prime has his high expectations and wants to be playing in the national championship right now, but that's not the case. And realistically looking at it, the year before you had 1 win, and right now you're on the cusp of having 4, maybe 5. I think that's a dub for the Buffs moving forward.
Man, I'm right there with you. Everything you're saying, I echo that. I would say UCLA, they wouldn't have a chance, but due to the 2 weeks and due to what happened in that other game, it makes me think that maybe they'll just get up for this one and they'll make it happen. Christian, I know you mentioned the Oregon State game. I think that's one of the games that they could just get absolutely murdered. I don't think that they're going to beat Oregon State. I know you and I have both agreed that Oregon State at home would be a major problem. On the road, not as scary. Arizona, yeah, Arizona beat Washington State, but at the same time, I'm not convinced yet that Arizona is legit, especially coming to Boulder. I think that's winnable. At Washington State, we're going to find out this weekend when Washington State plays Oregon if they are still in that echelon of being good. One bad loss. I'm not writing them off yet. I know they fell out of the 25. I don't fully agree with that, so we'll see what happens. And then look, Utah, tough place to play, but if everything stays as is right now, that's a team you can beat too. So like they could lose the next 5, but I definitely can see how they win 2 of these as well and make a bowl game. So we'll see what happens with the Buffs. More on that next week. But jumping over to our week 8 college football parlay of the week, we got a 3-legger for you. We're going USC money line, Missouri money line, and we're going to go Air Force money line here at plus 140. We were going to go Alabama money line, but as we were talking, guys, I changed this one on the fly. I just feel like we all were like Air Force, Air Force, Air Force. And Christian, I know you were against Alabama, so I was like, you know what? Screw it. So those 3 legs, guys, plus 140. Looking at your guys' dogs of the week. Austin, you can go ahead and go first here, man. Who do you like?
I like Auburn getting the upset. I think, I mean, they are coming off of a bad loss against LSU, and it was in the Death Valley. But also this Auburn team, they almost took out Georgia previously in this season. They lost to them by 7. I think this is a good team, and also Ole Miss. They've been kind of spotty coming into a lot of some of these games. You don't know what Ole Miss you're going to get. Sometimes their offense looks great, and then also sometimes it kind of looks a little suspect. So I think Auburn versus Ole Miss, that's a solid game. You know, conference game. A lot of teams come out for that, and it's in Auburn. So I definitely like Auburn to take that one.
I'm with you on that. I'm going to sprinkle that with you. Christian, who are you looking at?
This one's gross because this team has lost 2 just heartbreaking games, but I'm going to take Miami against Clemson, plus 130 at home.
Yeah.
Clemson's not great. They aren't great. It's plus 130. That's probably the lowest money line you'll see, but I like Miami to pull the upset.
Miami was one of the ones I had marked down, so I'm glad you took that one. I'm with you there just because Clemson, I'm not betting on Clemson on the road as favorites. I'm just not doing it. They've shown absolutely nothing. So good luck there. I'm going to throw out a couple here. 1, Colorado State. I think we got to do it. 1, it's the home team, and 2, it's just they score too many points to not be live dogs. And then I got a baby dog for you. I like Pittsburgh plus 100 on the road at Wake Forest. I just think they should be favored in this game. If this game was in Pittsburgh, they'd be 2.5-point favorites. So I think the wrong team's favored there barely. So good luck there. Gentlemen, any other games, any other spreads, anything else you like here on week number 8?
Oh, there's so many. If Riley Leonard's playing in Duke and Florida State, Duke plus 14.5 is a great one. Oh God, there's so many, man. There's so many. I really, really like Auburn plus 6, like Austin was saying. I think they can win that game outright. There was one more I was looking at that I love. Oh, Houston plus 23.5 against Texas at home. I like what Houston's doing. They've had an extra week to prepare. So I think Houston keeps that game close.
Austin, any other closing thoughts here, man? Anything else you got going up there? Whether it's football or anything going on up in Colorado State, what you got?
Well, I got one game. All right. Okay. And this is for anybody that likes defense and field goal kickers. Strap on your leather helmet. I got the under. I don't take the under a lot unless I think it's just absolutely juicy. Minnesota and Iowa. Put your leather helmet on. That one's going under. And it is a low under. It's like 31, I think. 31.5. Yeah.
It's gross.
It is gross. But I think that game is like, if you like offense, just don't watch that. Just send that bet in and just pray. But yeah, like I said, if you like defense and all that, I think that one's going to be a low scoring game, like maybe like 17-10 or somewhere around that. So I that's my favorite under.
I'm with you there. I think a lot of people are going to look at that game and they're going to try the over just because it's so low. But I think you're on the right side here. The Sharps are also with you as well on the under, and the public's already betting on that over. So say less, Austin. I'm in there with you. Guys, make sure you give these guys a follow. Austin Martin at _st.in. Mr. Christian Bole at Christian_Bole. Myself at Riggs Sports Talk. Follow us on socials at Denver Forum and check out sportsforumdenver.com. That is it for us over here, guys. Best of luck betting in week 8. And we'll see you in week 9.